Hello and welcome to Multifamily Investing with Bob Biggins. I'm Bob Biggins. Now, you've procured your deal, the asset's being improved, you have customers, and so it's time for customer service, customer satisfaction. So, what are the next steps? If you haven't gotten the information from the previous owner, you need to determine who all the folks are that are living in your place. And sometimes in smaller deals, you won't get that right away. You won't even get it from the owner because they don't want to give it to you. Larger deals, generally they will. You'll get a rent roll. Sometimes has people's names on it. Sometimes they don't, depending on who the brokerage is or what the owners want to provide. Because a lot of times they don't want to have the residents be named in their package. So you got to get their information. You got to collect all that, and emails and phone numbers and names and how many people live there, their license plate numbers, the type of vehicle, the year of the vehicle, just how long the leases are. Sometimes you get the leases, sometimes you don't. Generally you do. You make that contingent upon the deal is getting the leases. So that'll have the good leases will have the lion's share of that in there, and applications as well. And you'll have their social, most likely you'll have their driver's license number and all these key things that you will want to have. I mean, God forbid, what if a person passes away in your unit? You need to find next of kin and just what are you going to do? Think of things worst case. So work on collecting all the information either from them or however you need to or can do it. You're going to have people move out. So you've got to think about putting more people back in. So you need to develop a screening strategy. And there's federal laws on screening, and there's state laws on screening, and a lot of times there's even local ordinances on screening. And you can look those up as to what is required and what is not, and discrimination policies and laws and such. But state by state, you can look those up and determine for yourself. But you got to develop a criteria. Is a credit score? The credit score of so much? Is it so much income? Is it years of work? How many years of at a particular job? You got to develop a criteria, document it, and stick to it. Because if anyone can point out that you're not being fair with people, you could potentially be up for a lawsuit. So you really need to develop a strategy and have that be part of your repertoire when you're bringing in new residents. Really, the crux of this talk is going to be about property management software, and that really drives the whole operations process and the customer experience process. There's several. There's AppFolio, Yardi, Buildium, Rent Manager, and we use a program called TenantCloud, which I think those other ones I've mentioned they're really big with hundreds, and they can support hundreds or thousands of apartment doors. TenantCloud, we are in the higher end of that. There's 4 different levels: a starter, a secondary, the third level, and then the fourth level is it's custom to your business. And we're at the highest, I guess, for the third level of non-custom, and it runs about $55 a month, and it goes down from there. I think it starts at $29 or something like that. So those are the 3 packages of what we use in our business. And if you've never really looked at property management software, we spent 20 years working on properties and developing property structures in Excel. And just because we really didn't know much better. And a good friend of mine said, you really need to get property management software. You really need to, and kept thumping us. And my wife decided she was going to try one, and tried a free version, and it wasn't real user friendly, and then tried TenantCloud next, and it was we've been using it for several years now. So I encourage you to try 1 or 2, determine based on your portfolio size. I mean, you could use it for as small as 1 or 2 units, or right on up to hundreds of units. But what does it do for you? Well, it's like a filing system. It's an electronic filing system. You'll have your own portal. Ours is simply bigginspropertymanagement.tenantcloud.com. And so you can log in there and find whatever we have open. We can probably find our whole portfolio in there of what we own. contact information, our story, our background, and it's just customizable to whoever buys the portal. So when you have units open or not, you can upload pictures in there, and when you have listings, you can put all your descriptions in there, and pet friendly, not pet friendly, how many people are allowed in there by certificate of occupancy, all the different things can be put in there, descriptions, videos. And with TenantCloud, for example, which is what we're most familiar with, it automatically, once you put that in there and take that live, it automatically goes to apartments.com, which is top 3 biggest apartment search engines for rentals. I think up there also Zillow and realtor.com are some of the other ones. But if you have TenantCloud, you automatically get put onto apartments.com, and otherwise I believe they charge you to put it on apartments.com. So by paying TenantCloud, you get apartments.com for free. And whenever you Google for rent in Grand Rapids, Michigan, for rent in Kalamazoo, Michigan, generally the first 1, 2, or 3 is apartments.com. So very, very high level website that they're tied back to TenantCloud. Also in there, you can do tenant communication and history. A resident has a problem where they can't make rent, or they're going to be late, or you've got a boyfriend-girlfriend situation and they broke up and one person can't afford the rent anymore. They can either call you, or really that correspondence can all be in writing in TenantCloud, back and forth. And when TenantCloud, when they type it into their portal, all the residents and potential residents create their own login and password, and then they can communicate with you, the owner of the website. At that point, when they send some communication, it just comes to you on an email, and you can read it from your email, and that'll send you directly to the login, and you can communicate back and forth actually in the portal. And that then is saved communication, because who knows, people may be there 5 or 10 years. And if there's ever a problem, you would want to be able to have all that correspondence right at your fingertips to print out and show a judge that everything was great until their stepchildren moved in and they were doing drugs and things were going crazy, or just who knows what could be the problem. But you always are able to plan for the worst when you've got all the documentation in front of you. So that's very nice. Communication and history. Tenant screening. It is a site where when you have them fill an application, an online application, that they have to do a background check, and you can put in which level background check you want. I think it's 30 for a background check, 30 for a credit score, or I think we have them do $40. They pay it, and it does a civil background check as well as a credit score. So that's very helpful for tenant screenings to have that tidbit of information. And you can get more. They can do the job history and do a criminal background, I believe, for like another $12. But at this point, we don't require that. But you got to always watch, because they're on the internet now. There are fake check stubs, so people can buy check stubs with their social security number, and you get check stubs and a good story, and you could potentially let somebody in there who really shouldn't be into your place. So be aware of that. Also, for tracking maintenance, they can send in maintenance requests. And I've got this problem, that problem. And then once the request is closed, you can put close. So if somebody comes back and says, well, you never fix anything, say, well, you've had 3 in 2 years, and we fixed that one in 2 days, that one in 3 days, and that one in 3 days. So seems like that was pretty reasonable to have these done that quick. So it gives you, again, more documentation. It's just a portal. It just manages your business, and you have all the history behind it. So it's extremely helpful. Capital projects as well. I mean, think about when you did a roof, when you did a deck, when you did windows, when you did whatever, you can track capital on there and what dates those were done, even duration. You can track manufacturer of your windows. Is it a Pella or is it an Anderson? And warranty information, all that type of thing you can upload into TenantCloud or any AppFolio or any property management software. You can do expense receipts and then reconcile. I don't know about you, but with our doors, we probably have 100 to 200 receipts every month. And that's a lot for us. And they get all uploaded right into TenantCloud. And the amount, the cost category, and that just goes into that year's history. And then if you want to reconcile, you can reconcile monthly, bi-weekly, and just see how that particular property is doing. Verify people have paid. If you did like a P&L, profit and loss statement, show your expenses, show your revenue coming in, make sure everybody's been paid. But as far as the paid, TenantCloud will let you know if people don't pay. It'll send out an email saying it's been this many days and so has not paid, or they haven't paid the late fee, or they haven't paid the gas bill, or they haven't paid whatever. TenantCloud will be your reminder. It will help you to manage and keep revenue top of mind. Again, a good documentation tool. You can upload pictures of, say you bought a new appliance package and you've got a new dishwasher, stove, fridge, and microwave. Well, you've just returned an apartment. You've got 4 new units. You get rid of the old appliances that you've already uploaded from when you bought the place, or from, if you owned it 20 years, that you put in there many years ago. And you delete those, and you can upload the nameplates for the appliances and the warranty information. And so if somebody says, well, my fridge of 2 years isn't working, okay, and you go into your portal and well, there's the model and serial number, and you call the manufacturer and talk about the warranty correction, because you have all that information right at your fingertips. You don't have to wait for them to try to send you a picture of it, or where is it? Is it on this door, inside that door? Nope, you've already got it, and you've already can take action as soon as they reach out to you. Or for warranties rebates, you have all that information. If you have rebates, I know there's rebates for HVAC, for windows, for doors. Upload all that information. You can see if it was a Pella door, or what are some of the other names of doors? True line door, or whatever those may be. You can upload as much as you want. I mean, the instructions, the warranty, anything, and go as far as you want with that. You can do countertops, cabinets, anything. And it's very helpful to have all that information. Plus, when you go to sell it, it's right there for your listing. Turned 5 units. It took us 2 years, and we have new appliances and new kitchen countertops and cabinets and flooring, and this type of flooring. Is it a 25-year floor? Is it a 50-year floor? Is it a 35-year floor? All those things are very helpful if there's problems you need to go back. And it helps too when you go to sell the asset. You can document and show all that information that you've collected that, and you've taken the care and consideration, because a lot of these warranties will go on to the next owner. And if you have if the new owner has all that information, that's a definite value to them and helps your selling process of the asset. Professionalism. You have your own website. You can just give somebody a business card and say, go to my website, and you can see all about us and our assets and what we offer and what's available right now. And so, and report generation. You look professional, and if a bank says, well, how are you doing on this? We've lent you $1 million. Can you give us a report on how your asset is doing? Yeah, we've turned this many units. Rents went from here to here. Here's our NOI. And you can just create a report on that and PDF it and email it off. And the bank says, oh, great. You did it, and you asked for it, and you did it in 10 minutes. So it's all information that's at fingertips. It's just a matter of doing report generation. And once you have all that, it's much easier to do taxes, tax preparation. People with a bunch of receipts in a shoebox, it's harder to do taxes than if every month or every week or two you upload those into the cloud, to the TenantCloud, or to any software, and you just hit tax report, categorizes all your expenses, shows all your revenue, and you just take it from there and you put it onto your tax organizer, or however you do your accounting. Give it to your CPA, put it on tax organizer yourself, do it yourself, however you do it. Whatever it is, it's going to be much easier than trying to pull it all together at the last minute, at the end of the year, early in the following year. A pro tip when you're doing this is you will be able to have electronic communication with your residents. Make sure your lease calls out that electronic communication, that they sign and authorize that electronic communication is as good as a handwritten signature. What I mean by that, if you have to do a 7-day to pay in Michigan, it's 7 days to pay, and then that's the initial form if people don't pay, for example, and any correspondence, legal correspondence. You can fill that form out, upload it to TenantCloud, and then email it off to them, and that would start that 7 days. Now, if you have to take it to the post office, you have to do proof of mailing. There's 2 days allowed for mailing for the resident, and then on the 10th day, if you need to go to the next step in the legal process, it takes 10 days. If you have that allowing electronic correspondence in your lease, then it is 7 days. Boom, they opened it, and TenantCloud will tell you they opened it on this day, and it really doesn't matter because it's when you send it, because it's available to them, and they agreed to accept that electronic communication. So that's just something that is real nice with property management softwares, and you can really do that with email too. But it's just so professional with property management softwares, and it's all tracked and time stamped, and it looks good in front of a judge because I sent it at this time, they opened it on this time. Proof of opening. Huh. They're like, well, I didn't see it. I didn't get it. Yeah, you did. It's right here. And show that to a judge. And so that ups your credibility, and it would hurt their credibility, God forbid, if you have to go to court. If you self-manage and or do your own self-legal, which we have done for 25 years. So really, this is all just to help you in your business and provide the best customer satisfaction, the best customer experience you can, keep everybody on task, and just how to do the hands-on operations. If you do your own operations, you don't hire it out to a secondary property management company. So hope this was helpful. I do appreciate your time. I know it is very valuable, and please tune in to the next time. If you want to reach out to me at any point, you can go to bigginsteam.com or phone me at 269-849-6648. Call or text anytime, and we can discuss this in any detail you'd like. Thank you, and Multifamily Investing with Bob Biggins, signing off.